U.S. officials have closed the border crossings at one of the busiest ports of entry between the United States and Mexico. U.S. Customs and Border Protection says the San Isidro port of entry is closed to both northbound and southbound access. The crossing is between San Diego and Tijuana, Mexico. The closures come as around 500 migrants who have been gathering in Tijuana made moves toward the border Sunday. President Trump warned earlier that he may take this type of action. He tweeted, "If for any reason it becomes necessary, we will close our southern border." Will Grant is in Tijuana, Mexico. He's a correspondent for the BBC and joins me now by phone. Will, tell us what you're seeing at the border right now.
Well, right now I've been pushed back among a whole group of journalists and migrants who've been pushed back from the border by a line of federal police on the Mexican side. Essentially, the protest which you mentioned there made its way all the way to the border, having sort of managed to get around the initial line of police, a cordon of police. They then crossed a canal in the city of Tijuana, full of effluence. They managed to cross over that on footbridges and started running towards the border. Whether or not that was with an intention of actually trying to cross or simply make the point that the protest was to make, that they want their asylum applications processed more quickly, they want their voices to be heard. Either way, they made it to the border, and the border crossing, as you said in your introduction, was closed down on the U.S. side. There are long queues now of U.S. citizens trying to get back into the U.S. and Mexican citizens who work in the U.S. on a daily basis and have the right to go into the United States for work, who are currently backlogged here and who are very, very unimpressed with the whole event.
And Will, what have you seen in response from Mexican authorities where you are?
Well, initially they were very firm. They weren't going to be letting any of the migrants through on this protest. That was then met with an attempt to get around them that way, and that was effective. The migrants, as I say, made it to the border. But I don't think this has helped the migrants' case in any way, and certainly the Mexican authorities who have thus far tolerated, the migrants in general have obviously provided food and shelter and some support, now look very, very much like they're not in the mood for anything more. I can say there's probably 100, 150 federal police in riot gear standing in front of me right now and pushing them back little by little back to the camp in which they are housed.
And Will, there's a report from the Associated Press that tear gas has been used by Mexican authorities. Have you seen anything of the sort?
I heard it. I wasn't right actually at that point with the colleagues from the Associated Press, but certainly one of the migrants told me that he'd been hit by a cloud of tear gas. It's one of those moments, isn't it, when things are so confusing, it's actually quite hard to know exactly what's going on. You can probably hear the helicopters overhead right now. Put it this way, if it wasn't used in that moment, and the chances are it might have been, I wouldn't be at all surprised that any future attempt to do something like this would be met with more force. So certainly they are prepared to do so. And the warnings being issued in English at the San Isidro border crossing said that unless people turned around, they would be met with force. So it was definitely an escalation of feelings on both sides today.
All right, Will Grant with the BBC in Tijuana for us. Will, thanks very much.
You're very welcome.